On Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate.
And the other side of the equation is that you have different options of taking a listen to what the hell we have going on. We are hanging out on numero uno, the radio station, number 2 on the podcast network, and number 3, we do some kind of video platform that you can see at safetyfm.com or radiobig.fm under the section that says visual radio, if you want to put yourself through that kind of torture. So some stuff right there as we are hanging and banging. There is no doubt about that. So anyways, with that being said, let's talk real quick about what the hell was trending.
Here is what was trending. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's take a look at what was trending and what was on the tab. A woman accidentally breaks a valuable piece of art in Brooklyn, says goodbye to an iconic pizza restaurant. Kamala Harris, let's see. Even Kamala Harris hates flying these days, while Ron DeSantis still is the stump, but not really. We can talk about that in the swamp. Vince McMahon wants to sell the WWE for billions of dollars. Ray Liotta gets a posthumous star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Tina Fey reprises her Mean Girls role on 2 long-running court TV shows that have been canceled. We can talk a little bit more about that. What other things did I say? Let's see. Continued rise of streaming services. Streaming services such as Netflix, Hulu, and Disney continue to grow in popularity, which is even more people opting to watch TV shows on movies on demand rather than through traditional cable. I don't know why that last one snuck in, but it did. Listen to this one. This one I thought was kind of interesting. Increased use of virtual events. The COVID-19 pandemic has forced many events to go virtual, as the trend is likely to continue even as the pandemic recedes. I thought that the pandemic had receded. I don't know. I'm very confused on some of the stuff that this thing gave me, information-wise. But there you go. There's what's trending. So here's what we're going to do today. We'll come in, we'll talk, we'll hang, we'll give you some of the news-os of what is going on. I'll come back, talk to you a little bit about what is going on inside of the world, and then go from there as the professional broadcasters come in. Now, you're going to notice right away, if this is your first time here, well, you don't solely talk about safety. Well, I don't think that anybody solely talks about safety, so that's why we do a combination of multiple things, because that's how I look at it and go, well, it's going to be important to do multiple things opposed to doing a single thing that what we're doing. So keep that in mind as we are talking. So let's go ahead and move forward and bring in some professional broadcasters, because that's why they're the pros, and I'm just here hanging out doing board stuff.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in Washington, I'm Nick Harper. All 5 former US police officers accused in the death of Tyree Nichols in Memphis have pleaded not guilty. The FBI says it has contained a cyber attack on its computer network in New York. Analysts believe that Russia will not reach its goal of capturing Bakhmut in eastern Ukraine by the 1-year anniversary of its invasion. And the investment bank Goldman Sachs predicts 3 more interest rate rises for the US economy this year.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
NBC News Radio, I'm Trey Thomas. Norfolk Southern CEO Alan Shaw says he supports the community of East Palestine, Ohio, where a train derailment this month left concerns over a toxic chemical spill. He stopped briefly in the town Saturday amid heavy criticism of his rail company's response. The company has kept a low profile around the town, saying it pulled out of a community meeting because of physical threats to employees. National Security Advisor John Kirby says President Biden is expected to defend the country's continued commitment to supporting Ukraine when he visits Poland this week.
As the president has said, we're going to support Ukraine for as long as it takes, and he means that, as long as it takes.
Speaking on Fox News Sunday, Kirby said Ukraine's air defense is critical as the one-year anniversary of the Russian invasion approaches. Nikki Haley isn't focused on former President Trump heading into the 2024 presidential election.
I think we need new energy going in. I think we need to leave the status quo of the past and start looking ahead, and that's what I'm going to do. And as much as people want to talk about other opponents, there will be more. Many of them are my friends. My focus is on American families.
Haley, who also served as Trump's U.S. ambassador to the UN, added her focus is on defeating Joe Biden. Michigan State University is resuming classes this morning after last week's deadly mass shooting. MSU interim president Teresa Woodruff said the school continues to hold the victims' families in our hearts as they remember and celebrate their loved ones lost and grieve that loss. Funerals were held over the weekend for 2 of the 3 victims killed in the shooting. A service for the 3rd student will take place in the coming days. You're listening to NBC News Radio.
You're being infiltrated. Radio Big.
Police in New Jersey say a father shot and killed his wife and their 2 teenage children before killing himself. It happened in Linden on Sunday morning. When authorities first arrived, they found the mother, father, and 1 teen dead. The other child was still alive and taken to the hospital in critical condition, but died some hours later. An investigation is ongoing. The shooting death of a beloved Los Angeles bishop is being handled as a murder investigation. The Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department said 69-year-old Bishop David O'Connell was found dead in his Hacienda Heights home with a gunshot wound to his chest. Authorities did not provide any additional details. More than 300,000 Starbucks vanilla Frappuccino drinks are being recalled. Chris Coraggio reports.
That's according to the FDA, which says it's because glass was found in some bottles. The agency says it's a Class 2 recall, which happens when a product causes temporary or medically reversible adverse health consequences. The recall affects bottles with an expiration date of March 8th, May 29th, June 4th, and June 10th of this year. A spokesperson from PepsiCo, which produces and distributes the coffee chain products, says marketplaces are in the process of removing the product from their shelves. Starbucks hasn't commented.
This is Megan.
Hi, Megan. I'm Katie. It's nice to meet you, Katie. Do you want to hang out? Okay.
The hit horror film Megan is setting its release date on Peacock. The movie will hit the streaming service on February 24th. The PG-13 theatrical cut will be available, along with an unrated version exclusive to Peacock. The film was the first major hit at the box office this year, grossing $167 million worldwide against a $12 million budget. You're listening to NBC News Radio.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
Do you have a claim and not sure where to turn? Coastal Claim Consultants are professionally licensed and bonded public insurance adjusters employed exclusively by you, the policyholder, to represent you after sustaining an insured loss. They assist policyholders in all aspects of processing the claim, working closely with the insured to provide the most equitable and timely settlement possible. They will provide you with comprehensive service, anything from inspecting the loss site, analyzing damages, compiling claim support data, reviewing applicable coverages, assessing replacement costs of damages, and negotiating your settlement. The adjusters at Coastal Claim Consultants will evaluate your claim for no upfront cost whatsoever. Coastal Claim Consultants' fee is based on contingency contracts and are paid when the insurance company sends you a check and it's in your possession. Coastal Claim Consultants are licensed to assist you in the following states: Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, and South Carolina. For more information, go to coastal-cc.com. That's coastal-cc.com. For more information, lighting the way to recovery. Coastal Claim Consultants.
To some people, the sound of a baby babbling doesn't mean much. But that's not necessarily true. By 6 months, they're combining vowels and consonants. By 9 months, they're trying out different kinds of sounds. And by 12 months, their babbling is beginning to take on some meaning. Especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Early screening and intervention can make a lifetime of difference and unlock a world of possibilities. Take the first step at autismspeaks.org. A public service announcement brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
The following is made possible by Dad.
Why was the basketball court all wet? Because the players kept dribbling all over it.
The dad joke. Corny, grown-worthy, but also one of the simplest ways to share a moment with your kids.
Why do you have to be careful when it's raining cats and dogs? Because you might step in a poodle.
And kids that spend more time with their dads grow up to be smarter, more successful.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding.
And with any luck, funnier adults.
Why didn't the skeleton go to the dance? Because he didn't have anybody to go with.
Dad jokes rule. So take a moment to make a moment and give your kid a laugh. It's as easy as going to fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
That's really funny.
Hey, are you tired of hanging around and talking about safety in a boring kind of format? Well, I got something for you. If you haven't hung out with us yet at safetyfm.com, I'm going to encourage you to do so. Yeah, if you come out to Safety FM, you can come hang out with all kinds of safety professionals. Some are safety professionals, some are just people that are talking about safety. But we want to do it in a format that makes it fun and entertaining. If you're kind of trying to figure out what the FM portion is, well, we're a radio station and also a podcast network. You can come out, hang out, listen to my show, The Jay Allen Show. You can listen to Todd Conklin with the pre-accident investigation, Blaine J. Hoffman with the Safety Pro, the Hop Nerd, Sam Goodman, just to name a few on what can be found on the station. Different things for different people, trying to bring safety in an entertaining form. SafetyFM.com. Go to the website, download the app, and carry it with you all day long. SafetyFM.com. We'll be waiting for you.
Another pitfall of our society. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, there you go. Pitfalling in on our society. There you go. Some stuff to think about. It is currently 16 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Monday, so don't worry about that portion. So we still got a lot of stuff to cover, little time to do so let's get rolling right away, and let's start talking about what the hell was going on the shit list. Yes, the shit list. The list of the shit. Anyways, artist Jeff Koons is well known for the giant sculptures that look like balloon animals, but they're not made out of balloons. During an exhibition late last week, a woman apparently tapped on the 16 by 9 inch sculpture that looked like a balloon animal dog, but sending it off its pedestal and shattering it at its ground. The art was worth, are you ready for this? $42,000. Worth noting, the shards were kept so that the insurance company could review the remains and see what they could be done to make either the artist or the gallery whole. So there you go. $42,000. Why would you touch art that's there? I mean, that's just kind of a weird thing. It's like, it's not really a balloon. Oh, shit. I mean, there's just nothing else to think about. Anyways, late last year, Meta head Mark Zuckerberg told employees to prepare for a year of efficiency and noted their management and staff structure had gotten pretty bloated. Now, the social media company has reportedly issued thousands of performance evaluations that ranked employee work as subpar. Some analysts predict the evaluation is a precursor of layoffs on the heels of the 11,000 that happened late last year, or noting Zuckerberg relaxed evaluation standards amid the pandemic, and these critiques appear to return to a business as usual. Meanwhile, Meta is rolling out its own paid premium service like Elon Musk introduced on Twitter. Meta Verified will cost $15 a month and indicated that you are who you say you are on your profile. Customers will have to upload an official government ID to get the blue check verification on Facebook, on Instagram. So hold on. So besides that, you already have all of my data for the most part if you're a Facebook user. Now all of a sudden I'm going to have to give you my government issued ID on top of to prove who I am that I say I am. Boy, what a deal.
Who truly cares what this guy has to say? Who gives a shit? Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so you know Lenny's Pizza is the restaurant in Saturday Night Fever, but after 70 years in business, the iconic spot is shutting down. Longtime owner Frank Giordano is retiring, and no one else in the family wants to take the project on. His daughter said on Facebook, so there you go. So worth noting, while it ends the era of the restaurant in Giordano's, he took the ownership of the spot after the movie was filmed. So there you go. So I don't know. Do you think somebody will step in and try to do it before the whole place shuts down? I don't know. That's why I'm asking. Anyway, it was Ricky Stenhouse Jr. won this year's Daytona 500 on Sunday. A crash triggered a caution during the final lap, causing NASCAR to decide that the winner based on who was leading when the caution was called. This was Stenhouse's first Daytona win. The race kicked off the 2023 NASCAR Cup Series. So there you go. You know, I have to tell you, if you're not familiar with how things go down in Daytona during the Daytona 500, which is not super far from where I'm located, it's amazing the price flips that occur during that time frame. And I get it, you know, based on demand, things will always go up in price. But it changes how everything goes down over there in Daytona. Just some stuff to think about. So if you ever head out this general direction, just make sure that it's not during the 500 because you're not going to really want to hang out during that time. Anyways, the wreckage of World War II era submarine USS Albacore has been found on the coast of northern Japan. Japanese records suggest that the ship hit mine on November the 7th, 1944. A press release sent by the U.S. Navy notes that the wreck represents the final resting place of sailors that gave their life in defense of the nation and should be respected by all parties as war's grave. The Albacore sank at least 10 enemy ships during its time at war. So there you go. Let's talk real quick about some things that happened in the box office over the weekend, if you want to hear a little bit about that. So let's do that anyways. Coming in at number 10, A Man Called Otto with $1.6 million. At number 9 was Missing with $1.7 million. At number 8, Marlowe, $1.9 million. At number 7, Titanic, the re-release with $2.3 million. At number 6 was 80 for Brady with $3.6 million. Knock at the Cabin coming at number 5 at $3.9 million. I'll learn how to read one day. Puss in Boots, The Last Wish, $5.3 million. At number 3 was Magic Mike's Last Dance at $5.4 million. At numero dos was Avatar, Way of the Water with $6.1 million. I still haven't seen that. Now listen to this. This is the get. So remember, number 2 came in at $6.1 million. The number 1 movie in America was Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, at $104 million. So there was a pretty huge discrepancy between number 1 and number 2, just for purposes of talking about it. So keep that in mind as we are referencing. Anyways, let's talk real quick about what the hell is going on inside of the world when it comes to, well, you know, the all importante of what the hell is going on inside of the market. I think I have a guy for you that can tell you all about it.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Monday, February 20th, 2023. Equity markets move lower Friday to end an uncertain week on a down note. The market is wrestling with the true meaning of the latest inflation data, and the early analysis is not good. The pace of inflation is stabilizing at current levels, if not accelerating, which means the FOMC has yet to accomplish its goal. In this light, it may not be if the FOMC causes a recession, but when, because it may have to in the fight against inflation. This week will be another tough one for the market. The following PCE price index report is due out Friday and may echo the news in the CPI data. In this scenario, the odds of another 50 basis point interest rate hike will rise, and there is still another month of data to go before the next Fed meeting. The takeaway here is that inflation is still a problem. The FOMC is still raising interest rates, and the outlook for S&P 500 earnings is still in decline. Not much of a catalyst for the market to rally on. You can get the inside track at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, thank you, John Smalls, for always keeping it really-o, because, that's not the most positive stuff to start off with, but hey, it's the in tune of being in contact with reality. So let me give you some numbers of what I found. The Dow added about 129 points to close at 33,826 on Friday. The S&P lost about 11 points to close at 4,079, and the NASDAQ lost about 68 points. West Texas Intermediate closed at $76, and Brent crude closed at $83. The national average price of a gallon of gas on Sunday was $3.41. Bitcoin slipped over the weekend, trading just under 24,500. There was more than 2,300 flights delayed within, into, and out of the United States on Sunday, and more than 78 cancellations, give or take. Tuesday night's Mega Million drawing will be for a $104 million jackpot or a $53.1 million cash payout. Tonight's Powerball drawing will be for $87 million jackpot or a $44.6 million cash payout. So if you want to play the game, there you go. We talked about this at the very top. I'll reference it again. I did mention when we were starting the show that Vince McMahon is looking to sell the WWE. And I think people are kind of staggered by the number of what he's looking for. So take a listen to this. Vince McMahon is looking to sell the WWE for $9 billion. And that's with the B. Bloomberg reports that potential buyers include Endeavor Group Holding, which owns the UFC, and several Middle Eastern investors. Company shares went up 30% in anticipation of a new owner, according to the outlet. So some people are very excited about what is going on with this, but there you go. Some stuff that is happening inside of that world, though, of what people are looking for. So, do you think it's worth $9 billion? I don't even think that Star Wars sold for that high. And I know that those are kind of one-offs. And didn't Marvel not even sell for that? I mean, so there's just some things to think about. Is it the value of what they think that it is? I don't know. That'll be more of things for you to decide if it's worth it or not. So there you go. Anyway, so let's talk about some things that are going on inside of the world of the news. Coming out of New Orleans, Louisiana, police in New Orleans say that a shooting along Mardi Gras parade route on Sunday night is now a murder investigation.
Officers responded to shots fired in the area. We had officers quickly respond. They were able to make one apprehension. We found 2 guns on scene. But with those shots being fired, there were 5 victims.
One of those hit with a gunfire has since then been pronounced dead. It happened during the, I'm going to butcher this, Crew of Bacchus parade, with authorities taking one suspect into custody. No word on the possible motive. New Orleans police say that they don't have a motive as the investigations is in the very early stages.
Officers responded, as well as the other agencies, very quickly, and were able to find 2 weapons on scene and also apprehend what we believe to be a shooter. But whether he's the sole shooter or not, we will determine through investigation.
Okay, so there you go, coming out of Louisiana. Take a listen to this real quick. Authorities continue to investigate the shooting death of a longtime bishop at his home in Hacienda Heights, California. This neighbor says that it seems strange as the Bishop David O'Connell wasn't following his usual routine on Saturday.
He's the type of person that he's up early, puts the blinds open, makes sure the sun goes in. About that time, he's out walking his dog. Never saw him come out to walk his dog.
69-year-old David O'Connell was an auxiliary bishop at the Archdiocese of Los Angeles. He was found dead from a gunshot wound to his upper torso on Saturday afternoon. Police ruled out suicide in the overnight Saturday into Sunday and announced that the case is being investigated as a murder. There is no information about the suspect's motives. O'Connell was a priest and later a bishop in Los Angeles for 45 years. O'Connell's neighbor said that he had never assumed there would be a murder.
Either he's not home or did he go somewhere? But we never thought that someone would come in here and kill the bishop.
So there you go. A lot of stuff going on right there. Take a listen to this. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is stopping in Chicago area today. Governor Pritzker blasted the Republican governor ahead of the visit.
Well, he doesn't represent the values of the people of Illinois. In fact, he's the antithesis to that. He's demonstrated that he's homophobic, that he's got tendencies to promote racism.
Chicago's Frontenal Order of Police says that DeSantis will be speaking at an event in Elmhurst. This event is open to law enforcement members only. The exact location hasn't been released. So how do you work that out? I want to know. So does that kind of like become a moving thing? Like, I don't know where it's at. Meet me here by X time. I mean, I don't know. That's why I'm asking. Anyways, Mayor Lightfoot is being criticized for comments that she made at the Get Out and Vote rally over the weekend while speaking at a group of black voters ahead of next week's mayoral election. Lightfoot said that anyone planning to vote for Chuy Garcia or Paul Vages should stay at home and not vote.
If you want them controlling your fate and your destiny, then stay home. Then don't vote.
Following swift social media backlash, her campaign released a statement saying that she urges Chicagoans to exercise their right to get out and vote. Lightfoot is seeking second term when she faces 8 opponents on February the 28th. I mean, I understand that, you kind of get built into the moment and you said, if you're not going to vote for me, don't go out and vote. But that just does not seem like a genius thing to do in this particular time of the world. Because just on how things backlash so quickly. Seriously, on how quickly they backlash.
More sarcasm than a Mortal Kombat beatdown. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, several people suffered minor injuries after a large decoration crashed into a pool at the DreamWorks water park at the American Dream Mega Mall in New Jersey. Take a listen to this.
Mall officials say it happened around 3 o'clock Sunday afternoon in East Rutherford. A large decorative helicopter suspended from the ceiling of the water park came crashing down into a pool. 4 people were injured in the incident, including one who had to be taken to a hospital, but all are expected to be okay. The water park remained closed the rest of Sunday. No word yet on what caused the decoration to come crashing down. Jonathan O'Halloran, NBC News Radio, New York.
I mean, take a look at that thing. I mean, you're going to be sitting there and all of a sudden that happens. You're going to be like, what the hell just is going on right now? Anyways, coming out of Michigan, take a listen to this. Livonia police say that 2 Detroit police officers have been found dead in a murder-suicide. Detroit Police Chief James White says that it's a sad day for the department.
Very tragic and sad course of events. It appears to be domestic. It looks like preliminarily murder-suicide.
They were found around 12:30 p.m. yesterday and did a wellness check in the area of Farmington and 6 Mile Road. No names have been released. Detroit Police Chief James White says that the 2 officers have died in a murder-suicide. Take a listen.
Sad day for our department. Thoughts and prayers go out to the family, as well as our officers who you can see over there that are taking it pretty hard, as with the rest of the command team.
I mean, you never know what to say once you hear something like that, and then you have a microphone stuck in front of your face. I mean, not much that you're going to be able to say. Take a listen to this. An Aurora man is back home from the hospital after bullets flew into his apartment earlier this month. Ryan Thompson says that he's on the road to recovery after being shot in the head and the shoulder. This is coming out of Aurora, Colorado.
I heard 2 gunshots fire down through my window and hit me. And another one went through the couch. I felt myself flip outside my body.
The shooting happened on February the 10th. Thompson's complex at East Exposition Avenue. Aurora police say that they are following up on several leads, but still have yet to identify the suspect. The windows where the bullets entered into the apartment is boarded up, and Thompson's couch still has bullets stuck inside of it. He has nerve damage in his face, and he is prepared to go through physical therapy. Aurora man Ryan Thompson says that he was nervous about going back to the apartment after getting hit by random bullets.
I felt that I wouldn't fully recover from this if I didn't face my fears head on. When I came back in, I went into an extreme PTSD, anxiety attack.
I mean, who wouldn't have some kind of anxiety attack after that? So hopefully the road of recovery and physical therapy will go extremely well for him. So who knows? Anyways, 33 minutes past the top of the hour, so it means we're already running behind. So let's go ahead and get into the main story.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
You know, sometimes you start getting into things and you start reading things and you start taking a look around and you go, wow, how creative is that? How creative is this guy? How creative as things go on. And I will tell you, over the last little bit, I have been taking a read of this really great science fiction writer. And he seems to actually really capture some great info on how he thought the future would be back in, I mean, I guess the last book that he wrote was around in the 80s. But it's just a matter of how he actually took a look at things. And that's not the main story. But I was almost analyzing on how his writing style actually goes into some of the information and data of things that happen inside of the world. And I was thinking, imagine if we had a story that we could talk about almost in that kind of key when we were talking about things that were going on. So if I was trying to give you the layout here of the land and we were doing audio only and no video, I would tell you the sound of gears turning and whirling filled into the factory floor as workers bustily went in about their tasks. But little did they know that the machines were not only a threat to them, but also to their lives. You know, and it kind of sounds a little morbid, but there's some things that we need to talk about. And sometimes people can take a look at a lot of things and combine them and change them into other things. And if you talk about like dystopian futures that like they love to talk about in science fiction books, dystopian future of a workplace safety. If we talked today about the 3 top reasons why people die at work, this is how it would go. And I know that this is going to get morbid, but I wanted to talk about this today. And I would say that it's interesting on how you take a look at some of this. Because first, falls at a deadly dance with gravity can happen to anyone at any time. And number 2 would be electrocutions when I was trying to pull up everything related to this. So whether there's a hum in a machine that can be turned on at a fatal shock in an instant. Because sometimes we forget to take a look at these charging aspects of what's going on. And third is getting struck by an object as it's, well, I mean, you never know on how an object might potentially hit you. And what came to mind right away as I was looking this up was how we take a look at some of these things that are related to like forklifts and devices that if you're not paying a lot of attention, things can end up tending to happen. And as I was looking at this, I was wondering, am I looking at what are the top 3 things that could actually cause these worksite fatalities? And I looked at it and I was going, this is not something that the common people will run into day in and day out. But it's kind of interesting because if you look at it as a dystopian future of science and science fiction, as we delve deeper into the nightmare in reality, we must ask ourselves, what can we do to prevent such tragedies? And this is how you can start looking at almost the movie plot form of how can we protect ourselves from these terrors that lurk into the workplace? And it's kind of a simple answer, my friends. It lies with the power of knowledge and strength of collective action. And I think that sometimes we tend to forget that we can eliminate and identify hazards that exist in the workplace, but we can ensure that every worker can go home safe and sound by just doing some simple things. And asking the simple question of where is the next failure going to occur in our workplace might be the solution to our problem. And I'm not asking you to ask the people that sit inside of the corporate office making policies and procedures. I'm talking about asking the people that do the work. So if I would have to sum this up, I would say, so let's stand together against the darkness of that threatens us, if we were trying to go motion picture side of this. And let's fight against the future where workplace safety is not just a dream, but a reality. And let us never forget the sacrifices of those who lost their lives or have been injured in the line of duty. For only by remembering the past can we create a better future, and a future where the workplace is a place of safety and security, not fear and danger. And listen, I know that there was some sarcasm and some things tied into that, where the movie and futuristic and science fiction and all that. But in all seriousness, when you sit back and think about this today, think about it from the standpoint of we can resolve a lot of our problems by doing one thing, and that's communicating with our team members and having the ability to ask that one question that they'll have the answer to that you might not. And that, what is that question? Well, it's kind of a simple one. And what the question is, what is going to fail next?
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
Let's start using cutting-edge warp speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, well, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobile.io. That's mobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
They're good. They're very funny. They're hilarious. They just be whoever they want to be. It's just really funny.
Rated R Safety Show.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad, just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Have you ever wanted to start live streaming and were not sure how to do it? You can start live streaming up to 40 social media platforms all at one time for as little as nada. It's going to cost you your time. That is what it's going to cost. You can pre-record, you can live stream, you can do a multitude of things. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to safetyfm.com/one. That's safetyfm.com, ONE.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacky? Safety trainers still training in warped version. How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago. Contact the Safety Words team at safetywords.com or call Jim Polzel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
Radio.
USA, Canada, UK.
Here is another bit for our competitors to copy. Rated R Safety Show.
Celebration, make way for generation that's been waiting for you, waiting for you. Now it's all so green, now it's all so green, now it's all so green. Now it's all green, all green. Now it's all green, all
Okay, there you go. 44 minutes past the top of the hour. You are still hanging out here on the Rated R Safety Show, hour number 1 of the Jay Allen in the Morning Show. Yeah, and that right there is May May with some green. Songs readily available on Spotify and iTunes and a little bit of YouTube Music. Yeah, we've been playing quite a bit of May May over the last little bit. So there you go. Thanks to May May for allowing us to play this here. And a little bit of green. So there you go. Let's get back into the move and the groove of stuff that is going on inside of this world, though, because, hey, that's what we got time to do. Talk about what the hell is going on inside of our world. And if anything, this is probably going to be the most important thing that I ever tell you in my lifetime, and that's about my friends at the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. They can help you prevent suicide. The Lifeline provides 24/7 free and confidential support for people in distress prevention and crisis resources for you and your loved ones, and the best practices for professionals in the United States. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to 988lifeline.org. That's 988lifeline.org, or you can text the word TALK to 988 or call 988. So there you go. Some stuff going on right there as we are talking, hanging, and banging. Listen, we all go through struggles sometimes, and I get it. Believe me, I get it. I understand we need to reach out and talk to someone. So 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. So before you make your next move, contact them. Seriously. So there you go. Let's talk real quick about some other things, and this is where it's going to get kind of weird. So let's talk about it a little bit, because sometimes, as being a parent, you become accustomed to sometimes having to tell your kids no in order to make sure that they don't eat too much junk food or any other numbers of things that they may or may not be good for them. But grandparents, well, not so much. Researchers within the American Dental Association surveyed mothers and found that there are 2/3 feel that the grandparents spoil their young children with too many sugary foods and drinks. An example of sugary food items, as you might expect, include sodas, juices, baked goods, and candy. And perhaps oddly, while 72% say the children's grandparents spoiled them with sugary treats, only just over half, 51%, have ever addressed the topic with the grandparents. Actually, this could be more of a newsworthy thing if they found out that the grandparents don't overload the grandkids with treats. I mean, maybe that would be more of a thing to talk about. And I think that we need to launch a full-scale investigation aimed at identifying these grandparents and finding out whether they have interested in adopting. Maybe that's the next thing to talk about when it comes to this whole idea.
Duh.
So some stuff there as we are talking. So what else? Let's talk about this, because I haven't talked about this today, but it is happening. It is going down. If you are interested in coming out to, I almost said Santa Fe, but no, that's the wrong one. If you want to come out to Phoenix, Arizona, we're doing Safety Worlds Collide. It will consist of Brent Sutton, Sam Goodman, and yours truly. We're going to hang out, do some stuff related to the world of safety, and talking about just the different aspects of what is going on in this worldo of safety of ours, because I think that's going to be an important aspect of doing some of these things. So if you want to come and hang out and with us, you can go to safetyfm.io to find out more information, or there is a barcode that is on the screen. Early bird discounts is going on right now if you want to come and hang out. Listen, I always tell people these events as they go, we talk about them and we move forward with them. And I guess I should give the date on when it is. It's actually going down on May the 9th through the 10th. But when we talk about these things, a lot of people are holding off. This last event that we were putting on, when we were within less than a month, a matter of fact, that's a lie. We were just a little over a month, and the whole thing was completely sold out. And I understand that people think that I'm going to do that hidden ticket thing that every other person does and goes, oh, yes, I have this mad stash of tickets that we're releasing the week of. No, there was no tickets to be released. So like I'm saying, if you are interested in showing up to this thing, May the 9th through the 10th, Phoenix, Arizona. Yeah, probably one of the easier places to get to. Safety Worlds Collide. Brent Sutton, Sam Goodman, and yours truly. We'll be all there hanging out there for a couple of days doing the things that we do. Tickets available at safetyfm.io. So there you go. Let's continue talking about some other things that are going on. And you know what I think we should probably do as we are talking? We should take a look at what the hell is going on inside of the world. And listen, I know that we don't always want to sit around and talk about the political standpoint of the whole world of what the hell is going on. I get it. I don't want to do it. You don't want to do it. And it makes sense to me. But from time to time, we need to talk about what the hell is going on inside of the world of politics. So I think we should probably do that right now.
A U.S. Senator from Ohio says residents of East Palestine should be skeptical after the toxic train derailment earlier this month. Speaking on CNN's State of the Union, Democrat Sherrod Brown said people have a right to be worried. President Biden is expected to defend the country's continued commitment to supporting Ukraine when he visits Poland this week. That's what National Security Advisor John Kirby said during an appearance on Fox News Sunday. Senator Bernie Sanders believes President Biden is much more progressive now than he was as a U.S. Senator. That's what the Vermont Independent said during an appearance on CBS's Face the Nation. The church where Jimmy Carter has attended and taught Sunday school is asking for prayers for the former president. The 98-year-old's family says Carter will spend his remaining time at home with his family under hospice care. That's politics. Trey Thomas, NBC News Radio.
Okay, thank you, Trey Thomas, for the information. Listen, we have to get political from time to time when we are talking about some of this stuff, so there you go. Anyways, the detectives are looking for a person who beat up and dragged an off-duty MTA officer on Manhattan subway train. Take a listen to this from Scott Pringle.
Police say the suspect asked, "What are you looking at?" as he and the off-duty officer were riding a number 4 train around 7:45 Saturday morning. As the train pulled into the Brooklyn Bridge City Hall subway stop, the suspect then grabbed the officer, dragged him along the platform, and punched him numerous times. The attacker then took off. The officer is recovering from bruising and swelling. Police have released surveillance video of the suspect. Scott Pringle, NBC News Radio, New York.
So hold on, you asked the person, what are you looking at, and then got popped in the face a couple of times. That got kind of weird, kind of quick, just in regards to what we're talking about and looking at. So that's going to be an interesting one as we are taking that into the equation. I guess with that being said, maybe it's time to talk about some motivation minutes, because maybe we need to be motivated. This motivation minute is coming from John Small. Remember, if you do hang out on our station, John and Heidi are on every Monday through Friday, 2 to 6 Eastern time. 2 to 6 Eastern time. Take a listen to what John has to say.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote was submitted by Doug. Max Planck said, "A new scientific truth does not triumph by convincing its opponents and making them see the light, but rather because its opponents eventually die and a new generation grows up that is familiar with it." Wow, what a concept. Sometimes that is what it takes, for a generation to change, for something to catch on. Many things from my childhood have faded into obscurity. Some of these things were probably ready to fade away, but some of them just went away because the next generation was not raised the way we were. I miss video rental stores. but I also appreciate how easy it is to click a few buttons to see just about anything you can imagine. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Your Wellness Minute is brought to you by AlessaMorgan.com. Grip strength and muscle mass continue to be the best longevity predictors, with strong grip and the significant muscle mass showing direct correlation with robust health, increased mobility, and speed of recovery after injuries. In addition to physical routine that supports frequent movement and weight training, a key factor contributing to longevity is optimal protein consumption. And when it comes to protein, studies have shown that a high-protein breakfast may be better at increasing muscle mass and grip strength than a high-protein dinner. This may have to do with day-night circadian variations in digestion and absorption of amino acids, as well as the metabolism and bioavailability of amino acids in skeletal muscle. A high-protein intake earlier in the day may be more optimal for maintenance of muscle mass. For more information, check out AlessaMorgan.com.
Listen to our host of the Rated R Safety Show. Self-implode on our airwaves. Only on Safety FM.
Okay, so there you go. 54 minutes past the top of the hour. And let's talk about some things that happened back on this day. In taking a look around, here was what I was able to find. Let's go back to 1992. Ross Perot appears on Larry King's show to announce where he will run for president. He ran against Democrat Bill Clinton and incumbent Republican President George H.W. Bush. His folksy message resonated with more than 19 million voters on Election Day, which was one of the best showings by a third party or independent candidate in a presidential election. Perot and Bush lost to Clinton anyways. Perot ran again in 1996 with more than 8 million people casting a ballot for the Texan. That happened back in 1992 and 1996. Anyways, let's talk about some birthdays that are going on today. Olivia Rodrigo, yes, the pop singer, turns 20. Lilia Crawford turns 22. Rihanna turns 35. Miles Taylor turns 36. Chico Bean turns 36. Trevor Noah turns 39. Justin Verlander turns 40. Chelsea Peretti turns 45. Jay Hernandez turns 45. Brian Littrell, 48. Cindy Crawford turns 57. And Charles Barkley, yes, that Charles Barkley, he turns 60 today, just in case if you were wondering. If you're looking at some days of the year to celebrate, well, I have some of those for you. It's National Family Day, President's Day, National Comfy Day, National Love Your Pet Day, National Muffin Day, National Cherry Pie Day, and National Handcuff Day. What a combination of stuff right there. Especially when you go National Cherry Pie Day and National Handcuff Day. That sounds like a weird combination. So listen, I will tell you, for some people, it's a holiday today where they don't have to work or go to school. I'm in a weird county. And of course, because of being in Florida, if you're in the Orange County, today is normally a day that's considered a holiday for kids that are going to school. But because there was so much hurricane and rain activity that had occurred earlier in the year, they have to go to school today, which is kind of a weird one. So because of weather events, now you have to do more school. But then they go, but you were off of school, so how does that work? I don't know. It's kind of a big mess when you start thinking about it. But that's the way the cookie crumbles, I guess, is what we're talking about when it's all said and done there. Anyways, let's give you some Mac facts for today. The creator of the Nike swoosh symbol was paid only $35 for the design. People tend to read as much as 10% slower from the screen than what they do from paper. The Lion King was originally named King of the Jungle until producers realized that the lions don't actually live in a jungle. Eating bananas can help you to form a lining that prevents heartburn from getting worse. If you unfolded your brain, it would cover an ironing board. Give that a try. And Iceland has a dating app that stops you from hooking up with your cousin. That's an interesting one. There you go. Some things to think about for sure as we are talking. If you need a random joke for today, try this. I wouldn't say anything about, well, Sheldon Primus unless I had to say something good. And oh man, is this good. If you need something for their phone starter for today, try this. What are you really good at but hate doing? And then if you need a question for the water cooler, try this. Oddly, 2% of people put ketchup on this. What is it? Pancakes? Really? Pancakes? Never thought about that. Anyways, thank you for taking a listen to what the hell we have going on. If you want to hang out here, you're more than welcome on doing that or hanging out on Safety FM. You can hang out with Sheldon Primus with the Safety Consultant Show coming up next right after this. Or you can come over with me to radiobig.fm. Come hang out and take a listen to what we're going to be doing in the world of music, talking about entertainment, news, and so on. Thank you for always being the best part of Safety FM and Radio Big, and that is the listener, because without you, it doesn't make a lot of sense to do the things that we do around here. So, if I can't leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this one. No one ever made a difference by being like everyone else. Think about that today if you really give it some thought. I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.